This video is called When Rock and Roll Meets the Bible Part 2, because I made a similar one several months ago about one of my favorite heavy metal songs. This one's going to be a little bit more practical, and this one's going to involve two songs, one by Pink Floyd and one by a band called Extreme, which some of you younger people might not be aware of. This was a band from the late 80s, early 90s, the big hair band era, which actually produced a lot of great music. This particular song, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the song by Pink Floyd is on the Turning Away, and the song by Extreme is called More Than Words. And the Bible verses that they both meet are 1 John 3:17 through 19, which says, if anyone has if anyone has this world's goods and sees his brother in need and turns his heart away and does not give his brother what he needs, how does the love of God abide in him? That is the message of the song by Pink Floyd on the Turning Away. It came off of the album, I forget, it's been 36 years. I think it came out in 1989, I believe. Anyways, most of the music on there is lousy. It's not worth listening to. The music is okay, but the messages are lousy. But that song is great. It basically says, hey, we all live in this world, and we can't keep turning away from our homeless, hurting, downtrodden, dejected brothers and sisters. Which I love, because that's what Jesus did. He went straight to those people, right? And that's what Mother Teresa did, and plenty of people do today. You probably never hear about them because they don't make the news, because bullshit makes the news. Sorry, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. Anyways, there's a lot of good that actually happens in the world, and you don't always see it because why? Bad news sells and good news doesn't. So anyways, back to the point. This song is the epitome of that verse. It's just a great song. I recommend listening to it. On the Turning Away from the weak and the weary, the pale and downtrodden. Basically goes on to say that one world, just a world that we all must share. It's not enough to stand and stare, or we'll find that we're joining in on the turning away, which tons of people do, which really irks me. And when I see so many rich people and well-to-do people just turning away from the hundreds and thousands of homeless people, especially here in the Northwest where I am currently residing. You go through Portland and Seattle, and there are just thousands of homeless people. And then you drive on these, you see thousands and thousands and thousands of $1 million homes and $80,000 cars, and the two hardly ever meet. It's just a mind-boggling disconnect to me. Anyways, the second verse, 18, says, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in deed and truth. That's where the second song comes in. The song is called More Than Words, and it's a love song. This is the song by the band Extreme. I recommend listening to it. It's a very good song. Both of these are very good songs. The song basically says, he's talking to his wife, girlfriend, and he says, look, I've heard you tell me that you love me, but I want you to show me that you love me. He basically says in the song, he's like, what would you do if I took those words away? Then you couldn't make things new just by saying, I love you, right? And so he goes on, and he says, saying I love you is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I don't want you to say it, but if you only knew how easy it would be to make things new, right? Without saying I love you. And he basically makes the point that I want you to show me by your actions that you love me. Don't just tell me, right? And that's what 1 John 3:18 is telling us. It says, let us not love in word or tongue, because why? Because talk is cheap. Anybody can say I love you. I just said it. It was the easiest thing in the world to do. I love you. I love you. I love you. You can say it over and over. But it's not cheap to actually love people. So love is definable, and The emotions of love are probably 10% of love. They are a very important part of love, the emotional attachment. It's that, fires the heart. They're a very important part, but honestly, like 90% of love is the commitment to do what's right for a person eternally. And that takes many, 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 many different forms, as we know from the Bible, as we know from life, as we know from existence. So it's a great song. I highly recommend it. And then I love the third verse that comes after this, 1 John 3:19. It says, when we do this, loving in word, loving in deed, not just word. He says, we assure our hearts that we are of the truth. Right? And so as we live this life of faith, and pretty much, well, this could apply to anybody, not just people of faith, but as people live in real, authentic, genuine love, being there for people, taking the actions that people need daily, right? It's just like every good parent knows, every wife or husband knows, in any quality loving relationship, this is what you have to do. You have to take actions that prove your love all the time, and you have to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. When we do that, we assure our own hearts that we are of the truth. And that's one of the greatest assurances we have, that we are of the truth. It's one thing to just claim that we believe the Bible, or we're Christians or whatever. People can say anything they want, right? People do all the time. People say, it's just talk, right? I hope I don't do it too much. I hope I'm acting in love more than when I'm talking. But I enjoy teaching, which is why I do this. So when we do that, when we consistently love like God does, we assure our own hearts that we are of the truth, which is invaluable. We all need that. So what do? We love like God does. How does God love us? He commits to do what's best for us for all of time and eternity. And we can emulate him and do the same for those around us, for our families, for our friends, for ourselves. That's a very legitimate part. When Jesus said, they both said, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Second command is as the first, right? Those three components are all legitimate, right? And so we act in love towards God. We act in love towards others. We act in love towards ourselves and assure our hearts that we are of the truth. So says Pink Floyd and crew and the band Extreme. Thanks, and have a fabulous day.